Hey guys, this is Hendrik from Doobler.com, and today I'll be talking about increasing your AdSense CPC. I know a lot of people who say, well, increasing the CPC isn't possible, but in fact it is. There are three factors which determine how much you earn with AdSense. The first one is the traffic, the second one is the CTR, and the third one is the CPC. It's hardest to work on the CPC, but in case you manage to, then you can really earn, let's say, the double or even 3 times. And in my case, for example, I'm in the gaming niche, which is like one of the hardest niches, I'd say. The CPC I am getting with my methods, which I'm going to talk about later on, is 3 times higher. So what I did was the following. I tried to be more placement targeted. And the reason for that is that if advertisers placement target you, then they no longer bid for the keyword globally for all sites about that keyword worldwide. They bid for the ad space on your website, and they actually even overbid each other. So in my case, the CPC for placement targeted ads is around 3 to 4 times higher. You can see the CPC of your placement targeted ads by going into your Google accounts, going into your reports, and then generating reports per individual ad unit, and then ticking compare CPC of placement targeted ads, something like that, and have a look. And if that's the case, if your CPC of placement targeted ads is way higher, then you'll want to do this. And placement targeting works perfectly for sites who are pretty popular in the niche. Advertisers advertise for 2 reasons, and the first one is to get conversions, of course, to get sales, and the second one is to put their brand's name into people's heads. Second one. And yes, if your site is popular in a niche, then advertisers will want to advertise on your website for the previously mentioned reason, for branding mainly. So of course it's difficult to find advertisers who want to placement target you. My suggestion would be to just simply, what you can do is you can just type in something in Google. In my case that would be WoW hacks, WoW Gold, World of Warcraft Gold. And what you can see here is that there are tons of advertisers who want to advertise on your website. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to copy the URL here, paste it in your browser, open the website. Okay, this is like a bad example. Seems like their sitemap is, their style sheet is missing or something. Okay, here let's have a look on this one now. And yeah, what you want to do is most of the sites have a contact us somewhere, and some even have an email. You might want to send us an email, and what you want to do is the following. You'll want to send them an email telling, okay, my site is awesome in the niche because you gotta convince them. And then you have to say, okay, you could buy the ad space directly, but I wouldn't recommend you to do that. Instead, I would recommend you to placement target my site. Because when you placement target my site via AdWords, then you have the following advantage. You pay only per impression. You make sure that your ads are relevant and all that and all that. And yeah, that's what I did for a lot of sites, and my CPC has increased greatly. Of course, it has to be very convincing. Don't write them a general letter. Make sure to do it as good as possible. You might even want to consider a professional writer for that, because the better it is, the more money you'll make later on. And the return on investment, looking at 2 years, can be pretty high if they'll then start placement targeting you. And if they want to placement target you, then you have to set up AdSense channels. So let's have a look again at the presentation. The second point was more channels. The first point was more channels. Just have a look at how many channels I got here in my AdSense. And the reason for that is that advertisers can only target specific channels. So what I was doing, I was creating channels for each individual part on my website. And most important is that you have a channel for the ads on your homepage, because that's like the page where advertisers want to advertise. And for individual pages, for example, I get a forum, which is more general, and that's why I get individual channels per forum, so that advertisers can perfectly choose the channels they want to placement target. Yes, for a blog that might not be that important to have that many channels, but you should still split them, and for niche blogs, placement targeting usually works pretty well. Yes, and the second point is the AdSense Ad Planner Publisher Center. Let me just Google AdSense Ad Planner. There it is. And it's something Google introduced recently. And the AdSense Ad Planner Publisher Center allows you to set up a website, or, like a Google site, which automatically fetches important data about your website and then displays it. And advertisers are able to find that website in Google's database. And if they see, okay, that website is pretty cool, then they might placement target you. So go for the Google AdSense Ad Planner Publisher Center. It's like one of the best features of AdSense that has been added over the past month, I think. And yes, this is my AdSense Ad Planner Publisher Center. This is how it's going to look like. They have a nice graph, have a nice overview by Google Analytics. It's pretty cool. And I included that to the email to the advertisers. And yes, I think this is a nice tool, and you'll definitely want to use it, especially because advertisers have everything they want to know as overview. What would be even better would be if there would be like a listing of the channels they can placement target. And yes, that would be might be a nice improvement, because that would make it even easier. Next thing I recommend you to do, the second main topic, less misclicks. That's pretty hard to achieve, because you gotta have a look at Google's algorithms, and Google is very smart. And what Google does is the following: most advertisers track conversions, and thus Google is able to roughly generate the return on investment the advertisers have. And if the return on investment goes down, then Google is of course interested to make sure that the advertisers still continue advertising, because that's going to bring them the money, and that's going to improve the overall network, because they have more advertisers available for more publishers. So what they're doing is, if they see that clicks from your website converts poorly, they'll just lower your CPC to make sure that the advertisers still earn as much money. So my suggestion would be, might sound a little tricky, but if you have way too aggressive ads on your website, and there are a lot of people who accidentally click on your website, that would be the case for forums, for example, or if your ads are too blended. If your ads are too blended, then that might cause misclicks, because people are clicking on the ad and they actually didn't even want to open the ad, and so they'll just bounce away, which means no money at all for the advertiser. So you might want to, of course, blending your ads is important, but you might not want to overdo it, because that way the conversion rate would be way lower, because people don't like to be tricked and they would just jump away. Yes, and that are the two main points, and let me know how my tips perform for you, and I'm pretty sure that you can boost your CPC greatly. And let me know, you also want to make sure that you use section targeting for making your ads more relevant, because the more relevant your ads are, the more conversions you'll get, or the more conversions the advertiser will get. So that's also pretty important. And yes, I'm Hendricius from doblogger.com, Hendricius on Twitter, HENDRICUS, and see you around soon, and let me know how the tips perform for you. Thanks a lot for watching.